Hi there, this is Debbie Delbridge, author of Real Stories of Angels, Demons, and the Supernatural. This next story I want to share, I think it's going to be my last one demon story before I transition and tell some of the angel stories and supernatural events that I've had in my life. Anyway, this happened in 94. So in June of 94, I rededicated my life back to God. My life was a complete mess. I mean, life had just taken a baseball bat and hit me in the knees, and I'd gone through so much devastation and loss and heartache and rejection and just everything. I was a mess. But so I rededicated my life in June, and then in August, on August 8th, God actually supernaturally healed my heart. So I'm going to share that in another video. But then by late August, I found I was suddenly enrolled in a Bible school. When I rededicated my life back to God, it's like God just took the reins of my life and set me on a new direction. So, and I just followed where I knew He was leading. So I was enrolled in this Bible school, but I had already booked a ticket to go visit my best friend Sharon. Now, my best friend Sharon had moved out of state months earlier, and I booked a ticket to go visit her for a week in September. Sharon didn't have any pets or any kids, and her husband hadn't moved out there yet because he was finalizing getting his business closed down in Orange County, California, to transition and move it over to Ohio. So I'm sitting in her kitchen, and she was saying that she's rented this house for a month, and she's there by herself. But I was just telling her all the experiences that I've had and I've learned, and I was just so excited about it. But she says to me, she goes, "Debbie, this house is haunted or has a demon or something." So she began to tell me how she'd walk by a room and sense a really evil presence. She said that things would be out of place, and Sharon was a neat freak, so everything always had its place. Like if she'd walk in and a chair would be all the way across the room, or would be knocked down on its side, and walk into another room and things would be all out of place. So I said, sure, I would do that. Now, this was the very first time that I cast a demon out of anything, out of a house, out of a person, out of anything. But I understood it because it's what I was learning in the Bible school. So I prayed a little bit in the spirit, and then I cast the demon out, and I spoke those words, and I said, "Go in Jesus' name." And right after I finished that, a wasp came up from the sink in Sharon's kitchen. And then both of us saw it, and we killed it. And we understood that the wasp was symbolic, that whatever was there that was wrong in the house was gone. So was the wasp the actual demon? Probably not. It was probably just a symbolic thing. But, we knew it wasn't a natural occurrence. We knew that the door wasn't left open and a wasp just happened to go down or drain. And it was highly unlikely that, a wasp swam through the sewer system from the water plant in Cuyahoga Falls and just happened to make it up to Sharon's kitchen sink, the room that we were in, and came up and out the exact moment after I finished commanding the demon to go. So we knew it wasn't a natural occurrence that this wasp came up. But after we killed the wasp, both of us just kind of had this knowing that it's done. It's gone. And then, when I talked to Sharon after the fact, there was no more weird occurrences. But I wanted to share this story with you really for the reasons so you would understand that it's not the length of time that you've been walking with God or your spiritual maturity. Remember, I've been backslidden for 10 years. And then I just come back to God, and I just started learning about the spirit world for a couple of weeks while I was in Bible school. So it's not the extent and longevity that you've known God. It's what you believe, because there's that verse in the Great Commission that Jesus said, "These signs shall follow those that believe. In my name, they will cast out demons." And when we understand that we as believers, we as Christians have the authority to tell the demonic things in our life to go, whether it be in a house, whether it be in a person, whether it be in us, go in Jesus' name. When we understand that authority and that the demonic things have to go, because we carry the authority that Jesus gave us. There's a great little book. I encourage you to get it. It's Kenneth Hagin's book called The Believer's Authority. It talks about how we have the authority. A spiritual entity may have more power, but we carry the authority. So it's like if you picture a four-way cross sign and a big truck is coming, but a policeman stands, sorry, that's my puppy making noise. A policeman stands in the middle of that intersection and says, stop. That trucker is going to stop. Now, that truck has more power and could actually run that truck over, but it stops because of the authority. Well, that's how we are as believers. We carry the authority that Christ left us and told us to use. Too many Christians these days, 90% of them, aren't using anything to rebuke the demonic, even though that is part of the Great Commission. They forget that verse exists, or they think demons don't exist. It doesn't exist, because they're afraid of them. The devil operates, and the kingdom of darkness operates by fear and ignorance. If we get rid of ignorance and understand what the Bible actually says about it, and we have no fear because we have an understanding. Fear and faith are opposites. Well, it says, these signs shall follow those that believe. Believe isn't agreeing with it in your head. Believing is agreeing with it in your heart, in your subconscious mind. When we have that understanding, there is no fear. I have no fear when I encounter anything demonic, because I have faith in my spirit, in my subconscious mind, because I believe the Bible. If you believe the Bible, then you shouldn't fear anything demonic. But you know what? Hollywood has for decades has been trying to instill fear in the subconscious mind, because there is a dark agenda knowing that fear and faith are opposites. So when you're encountering a situation of real life, when you have a demon in your house, there is no suspense music. Stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. There's nothing to fear if Christ is in you, okay? So put that into your spirit and start operating in the authority that Jesus gave you. Okay, love you. We'll talk soon.